Yes.
Welcome
To
Menu Heroes Die.
your living nightmare. Because, we're not even in an apartment. We're not even in a house. We are trapped in a garage, I
We're
think.
gonna die.
Yeah, there's a chainsaw, there's a gas can, and a lamp. A lamp of evil.
It is a lamp of evil,
Yes.
he's right.
Yes, last week we barely had anything. We didn't have enough stuff to cover 30 minutes. And
I think we had about half an hour.
I had to include the thing that was never even announced by Nintendo or Retro Studios. I had to include my anger towards that in order to pad up time. But
Shout out to Sparkling Ice for sponsoring this video.
oh man, yeah, yep. You guys, you and Arizona Tea, you are keeping me hydrated, and I love you.
It's not actually sponsored, but shout out to Sparkling Ice for making...
We can be sponsored if you want,
Yeah.
Sparkling Ice.
We love it.
We will take your money.
Yeah. I won't take your mango money. Mango gives me hallucinations. I'm pretty sure I have a slight allergy to mango.
Okay.
But the rest of the Sparkling Ice...
Give me the mango.
It's so good.
Give me the mango. Okay.
Yeah, so lots of news this week.
Yes.
A lot of it is unintentionally horror themed. Wow. Thanks, Discord. At least the update didn't take long. So,
True horror.
updates.
One franchise did manage to do a showcase. Just let us know this stuff we already knew, but informing us a bit more details. Then the other franchise that we have not even heard about since frickin' 2015 just came out of nowhere and said, boom, here's a remake of a classic, and boom, here's a new game by, an acclaimed horror writer. So, a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk
A
about.
lot.
But
A lot.
we will save that stuff for the end so that nobody sees it.
Yeah.
No, so we'll start with some good, some bad, and yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll start with everyone's favorite, Blizzard.
Yep.
So, the Diablo 4 testers have finally managed to stick it to Blizzard.
Yes. Yes.
They can now vote to form a union.
Rock on, my brothers and sisters and others.
So, back in July, a group of 21 QA workers at Activision's Albany studio announced their intentions to unionize. The National Labor Relations Board, as of this last Tuesday, has voted to allow, or I guess they've confirmed that the vote can go on.
Mm-hmm.
The ruling came about because Activision Blizzard
Can I hold it for you?
initially... No, I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Initially opposed the move, saying that a larger group of 88 developers should be included in the vote. This is a union-busting technique that is very popular. It's okay. I appreciate it.
I do believe in the more the merrier, but at the same time, they should at least start a union before they decide how many there should be, you know?
Yeah.
Seems common sense.
So, the NLRB ruled that they disagree with Activision's claims that every employee in Albany who works on Diablo should have a direct say. Because, work differs between each of the studio's departments and testers are underpaid anyway. And so, it instantly clears the path for an election, which will begin October 27th.
Mm-hmm.
That is
About
this
5
week.
days. Yeah, about 5 days.
And the
Of
votes,
this recording.
the votes will be counted on November 18th.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Activision responded saying, they sent an email?
Yeah, basically,
Hey all, quick heads up on something important. Oh my god. I'm not reading
it's
this
a
one.
long one.
It is a long one. So let's see. They fully respect the NLRB process and fully supports the employee's right to choose how they want to be representative. They also have the view that people who work closely together should be able to make decisions like that collectively. We disagree that a handful of employees should get to decide for everyone else on the future of the entire Albany-based Diablo team. We think a direct dialogue between company and employees is the most productive route. It's not, because employees can inevitably be fired.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And all that talk about HR being there for you, it's all crap. It's there so that they can figure out ways not to have their employees sue them.
Yeah. So, let's talk about EA now.
Because we gotta talk about the two evils.
Yes. The evils within, if you will.
Yes.
So, EA is shutting down servers for loads of very good, very old games, according to Kotaku.
Well, hey, some of those games are pretty good. So, hey, we don't always agree. I know we use a lot of Kotaku articles. We don't always agree with some of their viewpoints. This is one where I'd say, no, some of them I do agree. Like, the NBA Jam reboot that they did in 2010 was pretty good. And Mirror's Edge was one of the best things that come out in the last 10, 15 years. Oh, God, it's been quite a long time.
It's been 12 years since it came out.
Yes.
14 years, my bad.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God. But still, Mirror's Edge is still pretty good. And I keep forgetting that it's EA who owns the Command & Conquer series.
So EA is shutting down servers for games like this.
Yeah.
So, multiplayer servers will be closed. So any games that support this feature, like Red Alert 3, will in theory not have multiplayer. Of course, the fans, the community, has already made fan servers so that this doesn't happen. Interestingly, the Wii has stuff like that for Smash Brothers Brawl and Animal Crossing City Folk.
Nice.
So you can also, you will be unable to get any achievements that have an online component. NBA Jam is an example because it requires a couple require you to play online. And the third. Actually, the third point is just about how the author feels old.
Yeah.
And I guess that fits you more.
That is true. Yes. I co-wrote this article, to be quite fair. I didn't really, but I might as well have because, the Dragon Age series, love that. Command & Conquer, those were pretty good for a time. And
Mercenaries 2, Onrush, and Army of Two.
Yeah.
That's.
I remember when Army of Two had such a huge hype to it. They had a whole campaign of like, "Hey fans, we'll let you help design our latest gun and everything," and like that did get some people excited back in the 2010s, and they just don't.
Did the gun get in?
I think it was like one that like Angry Joe and his fans were trying to promote and everything. So that did succeed, but it was like.
Cool.
But it was like, I think it was for like a game that had pretty low scores or low Metacritic. So, fortunately, the game itself was not considered the best in the Army of Two franchise.
So it's a good thing the servers are going down, right? No, just kidding. So now we'll talk about
another old thing that probably should have.
G4
probably
TV.
should not have even tried, honestly. Like, I know I was among the many people who were hearing about the return of G4 and getting excited, but it's like, when you sit down and think about G4, it's an idea that just kind of works only in an era of TV, not in an age where everything's online and streaming is the new big thing.
So, for those of us who are young, would you like to explain what G4 TV is? Because I genuinely don't actually know what it is.
Okay, so G4 TV was basically a channel that did cover video games. They had video game reviews like X-Play. Adam Slessler, he's been one of the guys that was from the original and also came back to the G4 TV YouTube channel. And also there was like shows that were about computers and new tech coming out, and doing reviews on some of the processors and everything. And also they would talk about like all the new innovations coming up, especially on a show called Attack of the Show, where Olivia Munn, who many of you are aware from various movies and shows like X-Men, Apocalypse, and The Predator, 2018 one that was not that great, but she's been in a few other movies. But she got her first start from the Attack of the Show, and the funny thing is, this is how it shows how old Attack of the Show and G4 is. I remember the episode where they covered when Twitter was just being invented, or just being brought up as an idea of being like, and there was like a roundabout table of people being like, so how do you think this will change like how people communicate? Because it's like you're just sending messages, quick messages online and everything. Like how is that really going to do anything different than MySpace and Facebook are doing? Because this was still pretty in the early days where MySpace was at least somewhat used.
Oh wow!
So it is weird to think that I'm remembering when Attack of the Show did at least cover the beginnings of the early days of Twitter, and when it tried to come back in 2021, I believe, was like when nearly everybody's using Twitter. Probably should not be using. The people who are using it a lot shouldn't. But that's one person's humble opinion. But that's always been the problem, though, is that like their heyday was the early 2000s, and it was like as soon as like YouTube became more popular, and especially when Twitch really blew up, it's like, what's the point of G4 at this point?
Yeah, it's not unique anymore.
And sadly, that was not the reason it shut down. Part of it shut down was that the people who got a hold of G4 and like was running the company, they decided we want to try and get away from the nerd stuff. We want to try and just do reruns of Cops and Cheaters and a bunch of other like reality shows, and that really got a lot of people who loved watching G4 really mad, and the ratings went down. And then some other company bought G4, and just it completely lost its identity. It no longer was G4 anymore. So, yeah, there certainly was people that were hoping with them announcing it would come back, we would get that heyday of, a bunch of people talking about games and, tech and computers and everything. But also, once again, going back to YouTube and Twitter, or Twitch, I should say, there's channels that cover that. There is plenty of YouTube channels about reviewing games. There's plenty that is about discussing the latest in technology or reviewing new phones, new computers, and everything. So, and these people aren't going by a script or using sketches. Now, obviously there are some channels that do make their own funny sketches about video games and
like
whatnot.
us. No, just kidding.
Well, we try. Okay,
no, we don't.
We're not.
I used to want to do stuff like that, but nah, we'll move on.
Well, I just want to say one more thing, because I know there are certainly some YouTube channels that want to blame certain people that want to blame certain people, mainly a couple women who have voiced their opinions and concerns as like the reason that G4 went down. But let's be honest here. Bringing G4 back was always going to be a difficult thing. It's going to be difficult for them to find their own unique voice in a world where
it's oversaturated.
Everyone's doing their own thing. Everyone's doing their own X-Play, or someone is doing their own Attack of the Show. It's no longer that special anymore. So,
like, well, okay, I don't want to watch this. So, sorry. Very rude of me, I know. I mean, what we do...
How dare you eat in the middle of the podcast?
I mean, what we do isn't even unique, We just cover news. It's not even news that we, report ourselves most of the time.
Yeah.
But we give our thoughts on it, The most unique thing about us is us.
I knew that you're eating in the middle of the thing.
So?
I'm not even that mad. I know I'm gonna hear some people complain about that because there is that niche group that like whenever they do even hear somebody eat, it drives them nuts.
Oh, I get that.
Okay, so just as long as you're aware of it.
That's why I'm trying not to make a lot of noise. But yeah, the memo detailing that they were shutting down was not very well done because it was sent on a Sunday evening. And as everyone who works knows, you don't check your emails when you're not working. And
it's one of those classic, like, a company says, oh no, okay, we're not doing too bad. We'll be all right. Or, hey, we're going through a rough time, but, we'll make it through. And then they say, okay, we're not doing as great, but hey, we're going to make sure that you guys, you still get paid, or we'll keep you around for a couple more months. And then they immediately, like, fire everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell everybody to leave. Like the next day. If they're lucky, they'll let them work another day. So.
But for example, Gerard the Completionist said, hey, this tweet is how I found out I lost my job. How neat. So, yeah, a lot of people lost their jobs over the weekend and didn't even know.
Yeah. So, sorry, Gerard. I like a few of your videos.
So, let's talk about Alan Wake. This story is so funny to me. Okay? And yes, it's in Spanish. But, like, I have a bunch of Mexican friends. And, like, no.
Okay.
So they've translated it for me. And they're where I heard it from.
Okay.
Basically, Alan Wake Remastered was recently released on the Nintendo Switch eShop. And in America, it's usually $30. It was on sale for $24. Someone in Mexico messed up and listed it for 24 pesos, which converts to $1.20 in American dollars.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, maybe we should be considering moving,
That's the thing. We could take advantage of the deal by making a Mexican eShop, or making an account that is Mexico and going to the eShop. But what is most likely what could happen is the purchases are refunded and the downloaded game is disabled because it was a pricing mistake. Or maybe they'll just be like, you know what, we made a mistake, just keep the game. It can go either way.
Yeah, it's funny because, like, they already did announce an Alan Wake remake. But I wasn't quite sure what time it was coming. I didn't even know it was going to be this year. But I'm guessing it's released early in Mexico, and B,
No, it's out in America too.
Oh, jeez. Man, I am so behind. I've been so busy with the other bit of news, the other games we're about to talk about in a little while, and also, just for whatever reason, Legend of Zelda.
And to be fair, the game was released, like, 2 days ago.
Man, I'm real behind. Wow, there's so many games I haven't got a chance to play, man.
Same.
And we're a gaming channel, and wow.
So we have a couple more stories before we get to the heavy hitters.
Oh yes, and I do mean heavy.
So John Carpenter
Yeah.
would like to make a Dead Space film.
Who dat?
Who's what? Dead Space?
Sure, Steven, yes, I want to know who this Mr. Dead Space is.
No, so John Carpenter is a developer, and I don't know why you're asking me. You watch more movies than I do.
I was making a joke. Oh my god. I know who John Carpenter is. I love so many of his movies. Halloween, Saw in Precinct 13, Escape from New York. When I say Ghost of Mars, okay, well, I've seen part of Ghost of Mars, so I can't say I love. Prince of Darkness was pretty good. Oh, his version of The Thing, his remake of The Thing is fantastic. So yes, and Christine, yeah, me and my dad Love that movie. Love you, Dad. So plenty of movies he has under his belt. But over the years, he's become more of a composer. I mean, like he did do music before he officially directed movies, but he just over the years decided, I don't want to really direct movies. I want to just make music.
I respect that.
Oh yeah.
And
some of his music is fantastic, dude. I highly recommend looking up John Carpenter's music.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
Oh, yeah.
So he previously in 2013, he mentioned that he wanted to make Dead Space into a movie because he felt he would just make a great movie.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So when he was asked which one was his favorite, he replied, well, any of them were really good. I even liked the last one, the action one nobody else liked. Now, he hasn't directed a feature film since the 2010s. Since 2010. It was The Ward was his last one.
I must have missed that one because I didn't even heard that one.
He explained that, and in 2019 he explained that he had gotten burned out.
Yeah.
But he has recently, decided that he's wanted to get back into filmmaking. He's been playing Fallout 76 lately. He said, I know it had bugs coming out and a lot of it was put down, but I thought it was great. I was trying to play Fallout 76 on my PlayStation, but I can't see anything, so it's not fun. I'd probably enjoy it more on my computer, but then I can't play with my best friend, and it's just... it's sad.
I mean, the man is 74 years old, and he is, again, enjoying games. Yeah, John Carpenter, yeah. He's full-fledged gamer. I respect that.
I actually didn't expect this segue, but the next news is pretty sad, and it is about Fallout 76.
Oh, yes.
The lead designer, Ferret Bowden?
I thought it was Bowden.
Give me a moment.
We apologize for mispronouncing his name. We do not mean any disrespect at all.
Fallout 76 lead designer Ferret Bowden has done.
Ferret Bowden.
Yes.
So, he passed away recently. It was a sudden passing on October 15th, and he was surrounded by his family and friends. It's obviously not easy when anyone passes away. Well, mostly when anyone passes away. So, it's a shame because I know that Fallout 76 which is one of his big projects, was not well received. A lot of people hated it. But
none of that was really his fault.
Yeah. A lot of it was Bethesda's fault, and they admitted as much, and they've worked to correct it. The game is in a much more playable state than it was when it first came out.
Yeah.
And apparently he would work on these Fallout for Hope charity drives.
Yeah.
And an in-person tribute will be paid during a Fallout 25th anniversary cosplay gathering on October 22nd, which is today as of recording, which will include charity walks in 4 cities to raise money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital.
Huh.
So it's good to see that he's left behind a nice legacy.
Yeah.
And, I always hope I'll leave behind some legacy when I'm gone.
Yeah.
I kind of doubt it because I don't do much. But...
Well, I mean, I think it's important. Like, we just, I don't want to give too much away about my personal life, but we just got through...
Here's his address.
Don't.
I don't even know where you live, Jordan.
Okay. I'm about to have a serious moment here, so can we...
I am sorry.
Okay. So, we just went through a service with a family member, and, many of us did have mixed feelings towards this particular person, but, we also know there's a lot that this person had done that still meant a lot to us. So, I think the most important thing whenever someone passes is not did they accomplish something or were they able to do everything they wanted to do, but more of like what an impression they left on the people that they care about the most, and will they still remember them? And I don't know this ferret Odin very well, obviously, and while I did not personally like the game he worked on, it just is a matter of, from all we can look up, he seemed like a very nice person that was trying to do the best he could with what he was given, and hopefully the members of his family and friends, could find the good things in life that he did, or the moments they had with him, in order to, have some way to move on and pass on to. And I think that's the most important thing, so don't beat yourself up if you're able to. I mean, obviously we all hope to accomplish the things we want before we die, or be remembered by something great or amazing. But sometimes it's just a matter of, how many times, what happy moment we shared together, or how much time we spent together, or just certain thing that made us laugh or made us appreciate each other. Those little things do go a long way. But hey, that's just one old man trying to teach you young kids how to better appreciate life.
You're not even that old, but that was very heartfelt.
I felt
that was a very mature.
These last 3 months felt like 30 years.
I can believe that, and I am sorry.
If you told me I was 60, I would believe you.
So let's talk about Resident Evil. Move on to something a little more.
Yeah, a lot less scary than real life. Okay, yeah. You know what? I'm fine with that. Yeah.
So Resident Evil recently had a showcase. It was only about 30 minutes long, and we're just gonna rapid fire through the announcements.
Yeah.
So there was a new trailer for the Winter's expansion. This is the DLC for Resident Evil Village, which will focus on a narrative campaign starring Ethan's daughter Rose.
Yeah.
This can be bought separately or as part of a larger Resident Evil Village Gold Edition package. And it also includes a new third-person mode for the main campaign and new content for the game's action-packed Mercenaries mode, even letting you play as the lady herself, though she'll now be shorter, which defeats the whole purpose.
It did felt weird seeing in the trailer that she is the same height as Heisenberg, who they did showcase a bit more of Heisenberg, of him just using his hammer ability, because there'll be a mode where you can play both those characters. So I'm kind of surprised the article didn't mention anything about him, because they showed more of his gameplay, his footage. But that's neither here or there. That's good.
And this will all be out on October 28th, 2022 for all major platforms.
All right, so this recording 6 more days.
So Resident Evil Reverse is also coming out on October 28th. It is a free game for all owners of Resident Evil Village or the Gold Edition, and it will fully support crossplay, and it's got locations and characters from Village. It's basically a multiplayer online shooter.
Yeah. It's a bit... Okay, I won't say it's like Operation Raccoon City, but it was the first thing I thought about.
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from.
It's like when Capcom was trying to just focus on just action-themed Resident Evil game. That's what this reminds me of. And if it works, fine. I don't really hate Operation Raccoon City, but to me, horror is the most important thing about Resident Evil, and I'd rather go with that direction.
Now, I don't like this next announcement. Well, half of this next announcement. So, there is a release date for cloud versions of Resident Evil Village 7, the 2 remake, and the 3 remake for the Nintendo Switch. These will be available... Well, these games all have demos, which is great because it lets people know how well they can stream the games to their internet, or through their internet, rather. The Resident Evil 2 cloud version releases November 11th, RE3 November 18th, and 7 December 16th, 2022. Resident Evil Village does not have a cloud release date yet, but it is also making the leap to Macintosh on October 28th, with the DLC coming at a later, unannounced date. And Resident Evil 4, the remake.
Yes.
Very excited about this because, I don't know, it's kind of hard to go back and play Resident Evil 4 with how smooth some of the later games feel. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but it'll be interesting to see, or to replay this game. They also released a brand new cinematic trailer featuring Ada, Ashley, and other scenes from iconic moments in the game.
Oh, and I don't think the article mentions it, but the showcase had, like, at least what we all believe to be the Duke narrating, and you see POV of, like, the little area that he, like, sells his merchants to, being like, oh, I have a wide variety of decadent information to give you, my esteemed customer and everything, and that was kind of interesting. And is the Duke voiced by Mark Hamill? Have they ever confirmed that?
Let's see.
Because it's like it's always
which one is he from? Is he from 4? It's been forever.
I first thought he was the merchant from 4, but I think he's supposed to be, I don't know, like the new merchant in the newest game, I believe.
I'm looking it up. Internet connections out here are a little slow,
okay.
so.
But it's like the voice almost sound like Mark Hamill, but not quite. So it's like it could go either way.
Mark Hamill impersonator.
Yeah, possible.
Look it up on your phone.
Well, okay. Well, I was looking up.
If you don't mind.
I was looking up something else important because.
Go ahead.
So while there was no news about Resident Evil Code Veronica in this showcase,
they said, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But I did want to at least mention that the producer, the producer of Resident Evil 4, Yoshiaki Hirabayashi, did give an interview with the game site Noisy Pixel, and basically saying that if the opportunity comes, maybe we'll do a remake of Code Veronica. So there's still hope, guys.
It's not a no.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Very exciting.
Yeah. I wish they'd introduced him about Dino Crisis, but yeah, hey, I'll take Code Veronica too.
And then Jordan's favorite and the juiciest of news.
Yes.
Silent Hill.
Yes, because here's like obviously there's a lot to love about Resident Evil and everything, but surprisingly, like, even though I tried both, I did try Resident Evil, liked it, but then I tried Silent Hill. And I really got into that because that went way more just psychological. That went way more symbolic and out there and trippy. And, it's one of those franchises that had a loyal fan base. And unfortunately, it was owned by Konami.
Mm-hmm.
And
a fate worse than death.
Yeah, isn't that the weirdest thing, though? Like, of all the things to happen to many of their franchises, like the absolute worst thing that could have happened was that Konami just not cared and just like abandoned their entire game division. And I'll go ahead and tell you right now, Konami is not making any of their games in-house. They don't even have a game development team anymore. They are licensing their properties out to other development teams, which can be a blessing but also could be a curse. Might be foolish, but I'm gonna see this more as a blessing because one of the big announcements they started off with in their Silent Hill transmission is the announcement of the Silent Hill 2 remake, and that's gonna be under Bloomberg Team, which is I believe is like a European horror game. I have heard some mixed things from Bloomberg Team. In terms, I haven't gotten a chance to play their games specifically, but I've heard of like, I don't know, they don't have the best track record, and obviously we gotta also mention, as Silent Hill fans, that back in 2012 there was an attempt to do a HD remastered edition for Silent Hill 2 and 3, and that went horribly wrong. largely due to the fact that Konami didn't have the original source codes for either game, and gave a really crappy betas to this American team that had never done a horror game ever, and asked them to remake these classic horror games that have a devout fan base, use these really bad betas and have them work with that. And also, they were just forced, like, okay, with the whole thing with Guy Chichi, where he was trying to get compensated for his work, or trying to ask for money for something, and Konami not only said no, they just fired him and didn't hire him for anything Silent Hill related ever. So that also added to the drama as well. It was a whole other thing, and Troy Baker was involved. And
why does that name sound familiar?
Troy Baker, he's really popular. He's been getting around in terms of as a voice actor, and for a while he was like really big into NFTs.
That's right.
Yeah.
Last of Us.
Yes, and he was the replacement voice for James Sunderland.
He looks goofy.
He looks like he would.
His hair looks.
He looks like he would be a video game character, honestly.
He does. He looks like an NPC.
Yeah.
Well, it's his hair really, not so much his face.
Yeah.
We try not to make fun of looks on this channel because looks are really not something you can control most of the time.
And I think, to be honest, I think he's backed away from NFTs, like I think most people have. But still, there was that time where he was really trying to put. Yeah.
It's me.
Come on. Okay, he found an image of a dude from Resident Evil Village, and
let's see. It is Aaron LaPlante.
Okay.
Anyway, you can continue with your
sorry.
Silent Hill.
Sorry to break up the Silent Hill transmission with Resident Evil. Ugh. Sorry.
Ugh.
But yeah, so the Silent Hill 2 remake and its trailer was the first thing, and I am gonna be optimistic and say it overall looks good. I know some people have said that James looks a little too similar to Leon Kennedy, but I mean, white people and their blonde hair. I mean, come on. Can we admit that we all look the same? Can we just admit that? But no, I will give you. Okay, it looks a little too similar to Leon. A little too similar.
And James was what, the protagonist of
Silent Hill 2? Yes. And I'll give you a crash course in that Silent Hill 1 and 2, they have very different stories, and there's not really much of a connection with either Silent Hill 1 and 2. Silent Hill 3 is a sequel to Silent Hill 1, and Silent Hill 4 is a sequel to Silent Hill 2. And then there was a couple games that tried to merge the continuity, but that did not make some fans happy. And it's a whole other thing. And we're talking about another Silent Hill game in a minute, because there's a lot of news. But
real quick, sorry, I know there is a lot of news. I mean, I can see why people would say James looks a lot like Leon Kennedy.
Now, did you look at an image of the original Silent Hill 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
What the character originally looked like. But here's the thing, my dudes. Resident Evil 4 came out in 2005. Silent Hill came out in 2001.
Yes.
So, if anything, Leon looks a little too much like James.
Okay, and look, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm not too bad either way, but I looked at again. You didn't see he didn't see the trailer. That's the thing.
I didn't have time.
He looks. That's why I'm saying like the remake James. Well, he looks like he would be like Leon's older brother. I would say that.
I can see that.
Like you could, if you were to tell me Leon and James were related, even though they're from two different game franchises, I'd be like, nah, I can see the resemblance.
Oh wait, I'm stupid. I forgot Leon was in Resident Evil 2. Never mind.
Yeah. But even then, like that was like PS1 era, so you could barely see his face.
And let's be honest, a lot of protagonists look the same.
Yeah.
And, you know, the originals, yeah, I guess he looks kind of like him, but not really. Obviously.
white guy with short blonde hair.
Yeah, it's a very generic, hero look, protagonist look.
Yeah.
Regardless, continue.
So basically, that's not the thing I'm too bothered by. I'm just concerned with Konami's track record with trying to redo their old games. Well, okay. I will be fair. Their TMNT collection was great, and their Castlevania collection was freaking amazing. So at least when doing collections for their classic, platformer, side-scrolling games,
it's just re-releasing it though. It's not remaking it.
Yes, that's the thing. So
Silent Hill 2 is a complete remake.
Yes. Oh, well, obviously, yeah. Looking at the trailer, like it's going to be available for PS5. So they are really like pulling all the stops for this.
That means I can play it.
Okay. Yes. Sorry to Xbox fans and Switch fans, but in Konami's defense, the early Silent Hill games were exclusive to PlayStation.
And also in their defense, it is exclusive for PlayStation and PC for a year after launch. That means Xbox will be getting it eventually.
So PC gamers can also play something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See, there's so shut up.
There's a silver lining. It's just really foggy.
Play. And also, there's even more news because
obviously
the same developer, the developer is known as No Code, who've done Observation and Stories Untold. Both games I've heard have gotten great reviews. Are doing a game called Silent Hill Townfall. Now the details are not clear. People are speculating it's a prequel to Silent Hill, or it's like maybe going over the origins of the town because there's a lot of messed up history. Even if depending on which game you're playing, but I don't know. Like this, it certainly is like right now. They're just saying like we're working on a Silent Hill game, and that's all they said. From John McKellen, who's like the head developer on this, and the director of the first live action Silent Hill movie, Christoph Gaines. He's coming back to do Return to Silent Hill, and he's saying the movie's going to be basically based on the story of Silent Hill 2, but it's also going to be direct sequel to his first movie, which I'm like, Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 2, they're not connected. Those are two standalone stories. How do you make a... I don't know.
It's probably like he's going to take elements from Silent Hill 2 and his sequel, or Return to Silent Hill is actually a prequel. Who knows? I don't. That's who.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's just like, to me, it's like, look, because like I think the rules of the town Silent Hill are different in both games, to where it's like I don't know how you can. This might as well be like two different universes. Honestly, this might as well be a multiverse thing. If you're trying to combine the two, in my humble opinion. Certainly some other Silent Hill fans might disagree, or maybe there is some graphic novels out there that better explain it, but I don't know. If you're going to do a movie about Silent Hill 2, I think just do it like that and not try and connect things from the first movie. But I don't know. I'm in the opinion the first Silent Hill movie, the first live action Silent Hill movie, is okay. Could be better, but also could be way worse. And I do appreciate, that this person tried to at least capture the feel of the dread of the town. So, if nothing else, I'm at least curious what all this next movie is going to be. This next announcement, Silent Hill Ascension, I'm just left wondering what exactly this is going for, because this is a game made under It's one of the developers is Bad Robot Games. It's one of the developers, but also the team, like the developers also behind Death by Daylight. What was the name again? breaker, balancer, or I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. But it basically is trying to go for like a live, real-time interactive thing, which. But again, they never make it very clear. Is it going to be like in the form of Death by Daylight, or is it going to go by Until Dawn, where it's going to be a set of characters, and you narratively choose to choose. Okay, so Behavior. That's it. That's a company who's done Death by Daylight. Sorry. Yeah, and also they made a big deal about like here to talk about or to mention our game Silent Hill Ascension. Here's J.J. Abrams, and they only showed a text of a message he sent. It was so weird, and yeah,
here it is.
Yeah, it really is like here to mention our game. We have a special announcement from J.J. Abrams, and they just showed this tech.
GenVid's Experience presents a wild, epic, and innovative new way to immerse yourself in the horrors of Silent Hill.
And again, it was a text.
Yeah, it's just text.
He didn't even voice it. He didn't even like say the message. He just texted it and sent it to freaking Konami.
Oh my god.
So that was certainly not the highlight of the stream, and it certainly is my least excited thing I am for this, but I do want to at least like
give it a
hear
chance.
it out. I want to hear it out. What else could this be?
I wonder if it's going to be like an MMO.
Possibly. Though, it's kind of weird to imagine Silent Hill in that way, because that certainly is a game series that's definitely much more story driven.
That's true. You're right.
But the last bit of I'll also mention one more thing. They did announce a bunch of different figurines.
Yeah, a lot of merchandise was announced.
Yes. But one of the things that has gotten everybody excited was the figuring of the dog, the little Shiba dog.
Yeah.
That's like at the control panel, because like Silent Hill used to do like joke endings where you get certain items and either a UFO will come and abduct your main character, or in Silent Hill 2 case, you get a couple items and then you go by a doghouse and then you find out the dog was behind the whole thing. The dog was controlling Silent Hill the whole time. But, obviously that was a joke one. But it certainly has, like, that freaking Shiba dog has become a fan favorite among Silent Hill fans. Even though it's made purely as a joke, it's just funny. And it's just, it gives us levity with all the depressing, dark stuff that happens in the series. So I'm happy that Mira the dog's got his own, like, or her own, I'm not sure if it's like, gender fluid Shiba dog that controls this evil town is getting their own figurines. So, that was like called Mira. Yeah, Mira the dog.
Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah, there's Mira. The true evil mastermind.
Female.
Oh. Alright. Oh. You go, girl. Oh, sorry. Okay, so the last bit of news from Silent Hill Transmission is actually the thing I've gotten the most excited about, just by thinking about it more. Basically, it's a trailer showcasing another all-new entry in the game, Silent Hill F. And it's basically, the story is being developed by Ryukiyoshi 07. And while I'd first not fully, it took me a minute to really recognize the name, that is one of the creators of Higurashi When They Cry. And that is one of the most, both weirdest, but also the most, like, I won't say one of the most disturbing, but it certainly is, like, a horror anime franchise that has really captivated and has really resonated, even after all these years. I feel like the first season felt a little uneven, but there certainly was some really great, but also shocking, terrifying moments. Season 2 definitely gets a lot better, and I am very excited to see what all they're going to do with a Silent Hill property. And this one seems to, like, take place in an area not too familiar with Silent Hill because it looks to be like a Japanese town that's overcome with these red fungi, these red lily fungi things. I know I read somewhere where they actually said the name of it. It's actually based on a real life red flower that's usually a symbol for death or the incoming doom of death. But yeah, certainly was the best trailer of the stream, and that I think I am the most excited for of these right here. And you're looking up the dog ending.
I'm looking up all the endings.
Yes.
Anyway, Silent Hill is
Yes.
no longer silent.
I am. Hey, I want to say this. Not all is forgiven, Konami. You certainly have burned a lot of bridges. But I do think that you going out and reaching out to developers who do care and love your franchises is a step in the right direction. I would certainly be very happy if you found some developers who loved Castlevania or Metal Gear. Maybe even Rumble Roses. But yeah, just finding people who do love your franchises and your characters and have them do stuff for you so you can still make money, but also you can have people who can care about these franchises would be good. I'd be fine with that. But again, they have to be good. Alright? That's all I ask. So anyway, what's your thoughts on all this?
It's a lot, and I've never actually been able to get into the Silent Hill series, but, I'll give it a try. I'll see what I can find.
Yeah. Well, again, I personally think the Silent Hill franchise, I think it works best when it's standalone. There's a couple that try to connect everything, and to me they don't work. So I think you could. Again, I'm trying to think of what would be the good way to start off, because the first Silent Hill game I think has aged. Certainly its control schemes have not been great, and also fair warning, the combat in these games has never been that good. No. Now there is one game where the combat was good, but it focused way too much on the combat, and that was Silent Hill Homecoming, which is to me the worst one. Like, I'm sure it plays, like, its combat and its movement feels better than most of the games, but it's like it feels like it's really trying to ape Resident Evil to the point where it has nothing new to offer, and that's why, like, I'd rather deal with, like, the frickin', like, PS Vita game than that, because that's at least trying something. Yeah, still mad that Guillermo del Toro almost was involved, and Hideo Kojima. They were teaming up to make a Silent Hill game with Norman Reedus, and that completely all fell apart.
Oh, are you talking about PT?
Yes.
And then they removed it from the PlayStation Store?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Still mad. But if these new things coming out can be good, I'll be less mad.
Understandable.
Yeah. Seems fair.
Alrighty. Well, that was all the news we have for you this week.
Okay. Yes.
So we'll see you the week after next.
Yes.
Because he's out of town next week.
Yes.
Until next time. Until next time, stay cool.